Hey, good evening, everybody. Bobblehead here. Just wanted to thank everybody for joining this evening for our nightly stock review. Um, yeah, everything quite a day today. Just wanted to kind of go over a few stocks, a couple ideas, and then do any Q&A if anybody has any questions about the way I do setups and things like that. Let me just go ahead and post this link to Twitter, um, so anybody else who's interested can join. So give me 1 second. So all right, cool. Just posted that. Yeah. So interesting day today. If you look at the watch list here, you can see already the futures are kind of down again, and the VIX is up. So we'll see how that opens in the morning. Obviously, anything can happen. So yeah, really interested in just kind of interesting today. So the SPY only finished up 5 cents today, which is interesting considering just how eventful and how everybody's just been watching after the big drop the last couple days. I just kind of want to just show real quick. I posted to Twitter a couple of these things, but the SPY is starting to look a little bit better. It's this month so far it's already been down below the 10 monthly moving average. 10 simple moving average is above that, and is approaching the 5. So we'll see if that serves as resistance or if it gets above it, and we finish the month out pretty good. There's only how many more trading days are left? I don't know if there's any holidays. Yeah, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trading days left. So there's plenty of time to enjoy the rest of the month and have some good setups. Most of these are putting in an inside week, which is good for next week. So if we close with inside weeks, any breaks of those next week will be really interesting, especially for any narrow range ones that we see. What else? What I liked about the SPY today is it yesterday I had a green day, and today it finished at the above of its range, even though it was only up 5 cents. I literally like how positive this bar is, and so that's a good thing. One of the things I did say I wanted to talk about tonight was the Facebook trade today, and I'm getting some great comments in Twitter, just about how I set up targets. So primarily, I look at the monthly for more of a macro time frame, but sometimes breaks those monthly setups can lead to bigger moves. Same with the weeklies, right? And the dailies, I look for patterns for the day. So I look for topping tails, bottoming tails, to give an idea. Like here's Facebook, kind of gave a pretty decent topping tail that day, and then you can see it's been down like ever since then. Here the 5 MA crossed over the 10 MA, went down, and now the 5 MA is about to cross back up, hopefully, possibly. And I say hopefully not because I care which way it goes, either way, but it makes it more fun to trade because you get more bang for your buck that way. So I like how it kind of paused out here, and I like how this 5 MA is about to cross over the 10 MA. And so that's good. And then it had a pretty decent close on the 60s. And so I just kind of wanted to take a look today. It wasn't a super stellar trade, but it was, just given the chop today, and we'll talk about the chop in a second. It was real simple why it was choppy today, but I'll get to that in a second. You can see here, Facebook, that's why I love trading morning moves, because you get so much more bang for your buck there too, but they're dangerous, so you just have to know your stops and your risk before you do anything. But here, I have this on Twitter. It went inside green. I was hoping, when it was green, I was hoping it would break to the upside. You can see how the top of this bar was over the VWAP and the bottom was under the VWAP. So you can see this bar never went above it. And so, and if it did, it might have done it by a penny. That was 159.46. No, missed it by a penny. So couldn't break above it. And so then I was thinking, hey, to the downside. Some people will trade VWAP breaks altogether, and you can see if you did that, you'd have had a much bigger move, but I still like to do the hourly setup break. So, and here you can see the bottom of these bars were both, 62, 63 cents. So this was an inside bar, but that, since they're both there, there's some resistance there. If you go to the time frame, what was that, 158.62? If you go to a lower time frame, you'll see that those, that area, on the hourlies, if you dig into the guts of it, right? 158.62 was where this bar, this bar, this bar, this bar. So that served as, support on. Here's a 10-minute time frame. I'm sure it'd be even more pronounced on a 5-minute chart. I just want to show you that's why the 60s are so powerful, because they eliminate, the guesswork of intraday stuff, um, with the smaller time frames. So you can see here, right, that was that 158.62, served as, a couple times, decent support. So a break of that, which it did, was the downside. That's the same as the hourly break. So that one as low as 157.95 from, and I think it was like, what was it, 158.63. So 70 cents. I mean, it's not huge on Facebook, but for today's trading action, it was a decent trade. I mean, even if you did 100 shares, I mean, you make what, almost $80. I mean, so I mean, you do 1,000 shares, you make $800. So I mean, it just depends on what your risk is, right? And your risk is this bar here. So it's basically 1-to-1 risk, and on scalps, that's pretty good. People, we talk a lot about, or tweet a lot about risk to reward and how important that is. But when you're scalping, for me, I just want to go green as quickly as possible and move my stop up so I stay green. And if it goes, it goes. So I'm not gonna sit down on a choppy day and wait to get stopped out, right? I'm not gonna, or wait to go, maybe I'll go green after I go red. Just go green, move your stop, get out. If you have size on, take some off, move your stop to profit, and then get out, right? So that was the idea here. So just to kind of talk about how I look for targets, some great questions on that today. So here, as it breaks to the downside, right, under the VWAP, so right, my first target is going to be where? Here, the low of the day, right? So, or the next lower bar, obviously 1 penny, but yeah, we assume it's going to get past that. And then here, this is 158.10, right? But what did it do in the 60 on the previous day, right? Remember this shooter here? Well, the low of that was 158.12. So you're looking at, 158, truly breaking 158, with some pronounce is really good. So that would be a first target right there. So boom, those two right there. And it did, it hit it. You take some off or you get out and you've got profit. Like I said, depending on what your sizing is, your risk is 83 cents and you make, 80 something cents. So it's about 1-to-1 risk to reward. You risk $100 to make $100, whatever the case is. It's a, it was a decent trade. And the next target, right, is going to be that bar, the bottom of that bar. So 157.64, then that bar, 157.40. See what I'm saying? So those are your targets. These are where, potential stops can be, and they could be, I like to use the hourly time frames, but when you go, like I said, when you get to the smaller time frames, you can see that those are pivot points anyway, where somebody may have been long, algos may have been long, whatever, and then you take those stops out and you just keep going. So, and you don't know. I mean, here we had, the reason, and here's the secret reason that there was chop today is that, it was Fed announcement day or Fed minutes day, right? Anytime you have, like the Fed at 2 o'clock, it's going to be, it's probably most likely going to be choppy unless they come out with something like totally crazy. I honestly thought we were going to get there was a lot of resistance going on on the SPY, and, there's a lot of talk going on, in the FinTwit world, that we were banging up against resistance. And so it was worth a shot, because if we really got some continued downside movement, that trade could have been even more pronounced. But still, hey, it's a scalp. It's good to go. Twitter, again, I've got my rules that I keep posted. One of the things is, you look for futures, and a lot of the futures were pointing up. A lot of the, a lot of the stocks today were pretty rough shape. But I like Twitter here. Right, because it went inside 60, and you could have traded that break right there. I missed it, but I did like this bar because it was a nice continuation bar over that, and so I believe I went long here right over this, and I basically just broke even on this trade. It was worth a shot because everything else was going down, but Twitter was staying strong. But the futures were starting to point up, and the VIX was pointing down, so it was worth a shot. You can see if you're really, Twitter's a slow mover. I mean, when it moves, but it's a pain to watch because it moves just really slow, penny by penny. It's almost like General Motors. But, what was it, 29.45 all the way up to 29.70. So 30 cents, you would have to wait, 2 hours to get a 30-cent move on it, But, hey, if you did 1,000 shares on it, that's $300, right? And the most drawdown you would have had is, what was the high of that? Was 45 and a low of 36, so 10 cents. So even if you did 1,000 shares, you're only risking $100 on that trade, and you would have made 30. So that was a 1 to 3 risk reward, and your first target would basically be like the 50% mark here of this big bar, right? That's always where on big moves I always look for 50% of a bar as a first target, especially on those double inside days. And yeah, and so it hit that, and so that was would have been a reasonable trade. I just got out because everything else was going down again. I was like, I'll just tap out. So made a little money on Facebook, and good to go. It was interesting how Facebook did retrace and go back up. So the double inside day I wanted to review today was J.P. Morgan, and J.P. Morgan had double inside day yesterday, and I missed this. I had meetings all morning, so but this looks like it probably would have been good. Yeah, you can see here, right? That was your big bar. Then you went inside day, and then you went inside that bar, so that makes a double inside day. And you can see here, you could have just traded that off the daily to the upside, right? So that would have been a break of 108.78, and then it went all the way up to 110.80. So you're talking a 2-point move off of JP Morgan, which is great. That would have been great on common or on options. 2 points is great. This would have been my entry. You could have traded off the 60s, or you could have let that first hour bar go. Then you had another a hammer bar here, and and that would have been a great trade right over the VWAP. You would have been at, this one would have been 109.58 and would have went all the way to 110.59. So a 1-point move just off of that within 60 minutes. You can see right there, there's 3 trades. If you did Twitter, if you did common shares, you could made $300 on it. Facebook, 100, and this one another 100. So that's a $400 day. That's a good day. You do that every day. That's what is it like? That's over $100,000 a year. Was $120,000 a year? So 250 trading days a year. Anyway, granted, it's hard to do. Some multiple, consistently. But this just gives you an idea that the trades are there, and if you focus on the right setups and you have your risk first, and you have your rules in place, that the futures are pointing in the direction that you want to trade, and you're going long over the VWAP or short over the VWAP, you have a higher percentage of succeeding. So that's pretty much the stocks that, kind of the things I wanted to profile tonight. I did want to show one more just into tomorrow. AMD. I really liked how that. There was a bunch of them, and I posted all the FANG stocks already to Twitter. And I'll go through some more later. I liked the AMD, how it was on the 60s here. Now, granted, of course, it's on the VWAP, so you get double inside 60 here. Let's see what it's doing. See, it's a little bit down aftermarket, but not much, right? 10 cents, 8 cents. So the low of this bar is 27.20, which is actually the bid right now. But so this is really one to watch for me. It's only an 18-cent bar, so 18-cent risk. You don't know where the VWAP is going to be in the morning based on the volume pre-market, but you're really close to potentially going long above that or short below it. So this is your reference bar. So if we open to say hypothetically, here, right? You can trade it, you short it here at 27.20 or 27.19, right? And your stop is just at the top of this bar here, 27.38. So, right? So 20 cents at the most, right? Risk. And so you size your trade accordingly. You can do puts, or you can do common, right? AMD's pretty cheap, so you do common. But say you did 1,000 shares on that, even if it moves 10, 20 cents, say 10, right? Then make $100. So I'm just saying. So this is a good one to watch. And then if it goes to the upside too, so you use this as your anchor point for the next morning, right? So even if you gap up, you want to see how it tests that bar. If it rips through it, then you might want to try it short. If it comes back up, you can go long. And that was like we talked about that yesterday with AMD here. You see how it gave you that essentially that shooter bar, that heavy bar after double shooters yesterday. If you the way it traded yesterday is it opened, gapped up, right, went down, tested the downside, failed. You could have tried, right, to short it there, and then been stopped out. But the risk was 18 cents again, And then if you just took it as that broke, which means it failed to the downside, if you took it over that bar there, it just went up like all day, right? Reclaim summit. So I think it looks interesting, right? Because you're going to have a nice little wedge pattern here, right? And that's what the 60s just tell you so much about the shorter time frames. You know, if you get caught into looking, too deeply on the shorter time, too deeply into the shorter time frames, right? So boom, boom, gives you a nice wedge pattern. So it breaks the upside or downside. Triangle pattern. Gives you an idea, and it gives you an anchor point to trade, right? Because price, should have continuity, and usually does, right? So anyway, this one's I wanted to review. I'll post a few more charts later, if anybody's interested. And yeah, that's it. So at this point, if anybody has any questions, feel free to post to the chat window. And like I said, I could look at a chart if you've got anything you want me to look at, and so I can give you my perspective on it. Obviously, stocks can do anything, right? They can go up, down, or stay the same. So, but I'll always give you my take on it, and might give you an idea of how I would trade it if I was looking at it, or what I would look at, trade or not. Because like one of them today, what was it? Noodles. I had to check that. What did that end up doing? Nothing, really. But it had some potential today. It was the daily was ridiculous. I was like, it was the only, a lot of things were red or sloppy yesterday, and this thing was gapping up and stayed green all day. And so it never broke 1350. A break of that could have been strong. In fact, this is still one to watch tomorrow to see if some volume comes in. There's volume way back there. There's volume here. But I'll just put an alert on it just so I can keep an eye on it. But yeah, that was the thing. There was no volume today, and so that's why I didn't trade it. It was perfect setups. Like I said, JP Morgan would have been really the one to look at, but yeah, today, hammer, right? You go along there. What was it? Yeah, along there. Could have gone along there, but anyway, it didn't really move that much, and it did. Each of them were pretty. It would have been painful to trade if you did a lot of shares on this, and the options stink. So yeah, it was worth a shot, but it never really did anything, so I never went long on it. And I didn't like the volume. The volume here was this hour was only 23,000 shares this hour, but yesterday it was doing 200,000 shares. So it's like, no, pass on that. That's why I passed on that today. So anyway, appreciate everybody for watching tonight. If you have any questions, you can shoot them out now, or feel free to post them, and I can answer them either through YouTube later, or you can send them to Twitter, and I'll respond there too. So if anybody has any questions tonight, feel free. Otherwise, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Hope everybody has a good trading day tomorrow. I got a meeting at like 10 o'clock, so I should be able to trade the open at least. So I'm definitely going to be watching AMD at the open, and I'll post my game plan too, just to focus on stocks that look long or look short. And of course, the watch list is always in play, right? So this is my watch list here. I use some Dow stocks, some S&P stocks, of course, FANG, and then the indexes. And then I always watch the futures to see what they're doing. So yeah, so I'll post those, and yeah, hope everybody has a good trade morning, and then I should be back for the key time frames. Obviously, my key time frames, I like 11:30 because it gives the bars time to form. 1:30 is good, and 2:30 is good too. So, if you're like me and you get a few minutes to trade from work, those are the best time frames to check. If you can excuse yourself for a trading break, you can see if there's anything good. And that's why it's good to just, real quick, if you go green, move your stop up. If it works and keeps going, awesome. If not, hey, at least you made a couple bucks, or you didn't lose anything. So that's how I do it. So anyway, appreciate everybody for listening, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye.